You've got an outstanding parking ticket and you're wondering if you'll ever stop being chased for it. None of us want to receive legal threats in the post, or worse, have a bailiff come ring the doorbell. So let me explain how long you can be chased for a parking ticket and what steps you should be taking to ease your mind. I'll cut straight to the chase and say that parking fines can eventually expire, but there's one big caveat. It depends what type of parking fine you got. Most UK motorists will receive one of two types of parking fine. If the parking contravention was committed on council land, you'll have received a penalty charge notice. But if it was on private property, usually a private car park connected to a business, like a supermarket, then you'll have been issued a parking charge notice instead. A penalty charge notice is an official fine, which means there is a strict process to follow. But a parking charge notice is only considered to be an invoice, so what can happen may differ from case to case. When you don't pay a council penalty charge notice within 28 days, the council sends out a formal notice called a charge certificate. This notice doesn't just inform you of the missed payment deadline. It actually increases your fine by 50%. You'll only get 14 days to pay this, or a court order will be issued, which could result in the use of bailiffs. So if you've received a penalty charge notice, don't expect it to disappear. So what about a private parking fine? In reality, you aren't legally obliged to pay a private car park fine unless told to do so by a court. If you don't pay a private parking ticket, it's highly likely that the company will send out payment reminders, add late charges, or threaten legal action. Though in reality, there's nothing private companies can do to collect the money unless they take you to court. But that doesn't mean you should just ignore a private parking fine. It's fairly likely that the company who issued you the ticket will be willing to involve the courts, so you can't just forget about them. There is a time limit for private parking companies to issue you with a parking charge notice. As long as the parking fine has Protection of Freedoms Act written on it, then the company must issue the parking fine within 14 days of the incident. However, none of these time limits apply when the parking charge notice doesn't state Protection of Freedoms Act anywhere on it. Some online forums advise drivers to ignore parking charge notices, suggesting that they won't take any legal action. Sometimes they can be right, but this is still a risky strategy. Unpaid private parking fines fall within the statute-barred law, which means the issuer must try to collect the fine through legal action within 6 years or it will no longer be enforceable. So if you got a parking ticket and then hear nothing about it for 6 years, you're probably home and dry. However, if the company does take legal action during those years, then the fine will not expire. As for council parking fines, they usually have to be issued within 28 days from the date of the incident. They may get longer if the DVLA is slow to respond with the vehicle keeper's address. The reality is that council parking fines won't expire because they follow a strict and quick process to make them legally enforceable. In fact, you could be subjected to a court order in a little over 42 days for not paying. Really, the best thing you can do with an outstanding ticket is to find out how much the fine currently is and do what you can to get it paid off. If it's not yet gone to court, then the fine may be nowhere near as big as you might be fearing, and it really is hard to put a price on your peace of mind. If you're still worried about an outstanding or delayed ticket, then your best option may be to consult a solicitor. There are many online solicitors that work out cheaper and easier than meeting in person. JustAnswer, for example, only costs £5 for a trial. I know a guy who saved £271 on his ticket doing this. I've linked that offer in the description. If you use that, you'll also be supporting Money Nerd, so thank you.